Hello everyone and welcome to today's tarot pick a card video. So this one is about who were you in a past life. And this one is kind of interesting because I took the cards and I assigned them to places, dates, and events. So we'll see how it works out. So this will be pretty specific if you're into that. And I think it'll be specific to only a couple people since I'm a small channel. So if you see this, it's probably meant specifically for you. I don't know. But we're going to just get right into it. This is pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. And you probably know how to pick a pile, but if you don't, just center yourself. Think about, like you're meditating, think about nothing for 30 seconds and let the answer come to you. And pick your pile. All right, so right onto pile number 1. Okay, pile number 1, let's see what kind of past lives you have. So this is going to be kind of a collective of maybe multiple different lives, maybe just one life that is, maybe you'll know it, maybe you won't, but let's just get right into it. Okay, pile number 1. So if you're into researching your past lives, I would write down this part that I'm about to say. So these top cards up here are your location, event, and place. I've assigned these different decks to different things. So these are the cards you got. The possible time periods of your past lives are 600 AD, 200 AD, and before 10,000 BC. So you probably already know that you're an old soul, because before 10,000 BC is the oldest card I have on here, so you're old. You were probably on Earth before it was Earth. Doesn't even make sense, but so I mean, yeah, your locations are Australia, which I don't know much about the history of Australia, so Poland and Egypt, which Egypt would make a lot of sense, especially with sorry about that. My dog is out here and he's a pug and he's kind of needy, so he's trying to get up on my lap and he breathes really heavy. So if you hear a pug breathing in the background, that is my pug and I apologize. But back to the reading. So Egypt makes sense for the 10,000 BC because, that's around, Egypt is one of the oldest places and, oh, he's laying down right next to me. So if you hear him, I'm sorry. The events, this is really interesting, events / occupations, and so there's a lot of different things, are plague, drought, animal farmer, and Sumerian culture. So even though it doesn't say you were in the area of Sumeria, it gave you an extra one. It's possible that you were Sumerian, which is also the oldest known civilization with evidence. So you're old. You've been around here for a long time. You're definitely some sort of starseed for sure, or something like that, So I can't tell you too much about it, but what I am feeling is you were a ruler at least once or twice, because we've got the king card, we've got status, we've got power too, generosity. So I feel like there's a couple different lives to tune into here, so this is a little tough to say exactly for sure. But you're the type of ruler who sorry, my dog again. He's really out here trying to get to me. Let me pause this for a second. Okay, sorry about that. So you were definitely some kind of ruler, for sure, once or twice, but not the kind that is domineering or bad. The kind that was very benevolent, empathetic, did the things. I see children here twice. There's child eternal. This says determination to remain young in a body, mind, and spirit, ability to see things with fresh eyes. So that's a really good trait, just being able to see the world from a child's perspective, even as an adult and growing older. I think that's what made you such a good ruler when you were. I think that, you have been male and female. It's possible you were a queen, but also extremely possible you were a king. Enlightened, benevolent leadership benefiting those in charge. The femme fatale. This is definitely like some Egypt energy, in my opinion. Highlights the erotic energy of the feminine, opens your heart when your dependency is rejected. So, I feel like you were a very strong woman in one of these lives. Very, like, desirable, confident, knew what you were doing. And yeah, I mean, and with this escape and isolation, this makes me think, well, it's because the Buddha's on it, but, oh, can you see that? Can't really see that. Okay, well, this makes me think of the story of the Buddha, where he's, in isolation. He's in his tower, and he hasn't seen, or his tower, in his kingdom, and he hasn't seen the world, and he goes and he escapes and he learns. So you may have a connection with the Buddha or a story like the Buddha. It's interesting. There's gossip and bluff. Awakens consideration for the feelings of others, honoring trust. And then there's also bluff. So with bluff, I'm feeling like you may have been someone who would stretch the truth, tell white lies in order to make everyone feel better, which nothing is wrong with that. Sometimes you need to tell a white lie here and there. I mean, you've lived a lot of lifetimes. There's a lot of energy here. You've done all kinds of different things. The nutrition card I'm interested in because it seems like when you have animal farmer, it's possible that you were really good at making different dishes and meals. Dilettante. Delights in the arts without having to be a professional, alerts you of the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. So a lot of the time, you also just kind of enjoyed yourself a lot, like did a lot of art, did a lot of, I imagine Sumerian culture, they did pottery art. Maybe you're into pottery. She's holding a little pot in that hand. Painting, carving, sculptures, all kinds of things like that. The patience. Right here, I like how there's a lion and a bull, which are kind of symbols for Egypt and Sumeria, which is cool because those are both represented here. Versatility. You are a jack of all trades. You probably already know that. You can do anything. You have done everything already. You've been alive for a really, really long time. And that's impressive, honestly. Completion. I feel like you're a completionist. I mean, again, with being alive for a very long time, I feel like you're, with the jack of all trades, very well-rounded. You have a lot done and a lot to give. I'm really drawn to this escape card. I feel like maybe that's where some trauma comes from, is through this escape. It reminds me of when Marie Antoinette was trying to escape France. I know that's not in this lifetime, but, very wise old soul. Good at delegating, good at keeping secrets, good at ruling overall. Very giving, very just fair and honest. So if those places resonated with you, I hope they did. If you have any tendency to enjoy those places or just an affinity for them for no reason at all, then that's why. It's because you had past lives there. You've definitely had more past lives in the places and done more things than I've listed here, but I've listed a few for you, maybe to help. So let me tell you again really quick which ones they are. So the time period, 600 AD, 200 AD, and before 10,000 BC. So those are some of the important ones for you. Australia, Poland, Egypt, Sumerian culture, animal farmer, drought, and plague. So you could probably look more into those places and things that have happened there if you'd like and find out more information on it. And that's all I have for you, pile number one. Sorry that was kind of a short reading. Well, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, because I'm definitely going to be posting more of these past life things if they work out. um, but yeah, thank you for watching. Okay, pile number 2. This is your reading. So really quick, if you're interested in, well, this is kind of a detailed reading. I think I already said that before, but let me just get right into it. Okay, pile number 2. So this is your reading. So these top cards up here are the event, place, occupation, and time period cards. And so I'm just going to list them. And if you want to research them or want to know more, I would write them down. So your time period is 450 through 500 AD, 1150 AD, and 8000 BC. That's old. You're an old soul. You've been around here for a while. I'm sensing like a very good mix of positive and negative energy within here. I mean, even it's obvious through the cards that there is. Also, masculine energy. It feels very masculine, but could be feminine, but feels mostly like masculine energy to me. The location is Israel, Turkey, Korea. Interesting. Israel and Turkey are very historical places. I don't know much about like the history of Korea. I'm sorry. The events are a tornado or a severe storm, marriage, and being a slave trader / owner. So there's a lot going on here and a lot of different lives that it's touching into. So I'm drawn to these two, flirtation and affair. So, I mean, you had the marriage thing. So I feel like you either were cheated on or did the cheating, but I feel like it was you who did the cheating in a past life. So if you have a tendency to cheat in this life, that's why. But not to call you out, it might not be you, I don't know, energy. Oop, there's a motorcycle. And then there's this, what was it? Night. Sorry, the dogs are barking a lot. And then there's this knight card which says loyalty, romance, and chivalry, a love of honor. So it's like kind of romantic, like cliches. So you have this romantic side, that with the flirtation, but I also feel like you have a tendency to like get too into that and kind of flirt with everyone no matter who it is. Now, you have a lot of good traits. You probably have a love for traveling all around. I mean, excitement right here. You just have like kind of a, what is it, like adrenaline junkie kind of vibe, but not actually like that much, but yoga. So you're very spiritual in some of these lives. You have yoga and healer, and I just feel like there's this really spiritual sense of like you used to be really in touch. I don't know if you still are. You probably are if you're watching this. And then school, you really enjoyed learning and learning things and knowing more. Now, storyteller, ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. So I imagine you going around and traveling, coming back to your family, and then telling them all about what you saw and maybe exaggerating a little bit here and there. But not too much. Visionary. So you have this great ability to see something that could be created that is beautiful and then going out and creating that. You have visions for what things should look like, for what things should be like. Very disciplined, very self-disciplined, and good at manifesting. I think that before you even knew what manifestation was, you were out here manifesting all the time, just like crazy. But I'm drawn to the alchemist and the prince. So, everyone has some negative lifetimes or badly influenced lifetimes. So the alchemist is in reverse. So the reverse side says misuse of the power and knowledge that comes through spiritual practice. And then there is the Prince card in reverse, which says using power for self-aggrandizement. I don't know if I said that right, but so I mean, this is interesting, especially because you got the slave trader / slave owner. Maybe it doesn't mean slaves in that way. It depends, because it is historical, so it's totally possible that you did. But it could mean in another sense, maybe you're a ruler of something. I don't get that vibe exactly that you're a ruler. I feel like if you were a ruler, it would have. I mean, everyone was a ruler at some point. You probably were, but I don't think that that's what they're drawing the attention to. I do think that. I mean, there is choral manipulation. So I feel like you've had some very aggressive lifetimes where and you don't mean to be aggressive. I think that that's just how you were in those lifetimes. And you'll say things without realizing you're being manipulative. Sometimes you're being manipulative, but a lot of the time you're just doing it to get what you want in these lifetimes. So a couple negative lifetimes here, but mostly positive. I see mostly positive. I feel like you have a tendency to be a little bit impulsive and kind of just do things without thinking. This resistance card is kind of drawing my attention. So there's a resistance to change and a resistance to changing yourself on the inside. So I feel like it's hard for you sometimes to grow and change because you enjoy being the person that you are, at least in these lifetimes. I don't know about now. I'm just talking about in the past. So decision, you're very I could see you as someone who is leading like an army or like a battle or something, making good decisions, decisive decisions in order to get the upper hand. That, with speculation too. Speculation and decision, I think, go hand in hand right there. Very just noble is the vibe I get overall. Like, I see someone like sitting straight up with their like looking out into the distance, and they just look so ready to take on everything. Definitely something with battling, I think. Even though there's no battle occupations, I think that there were times when you did. I think what it's highlighting is these relationship tendencies, and some manipulation tendencies and tendencies to fight. So as you get into your spirituality, I'm sure you don't do this anymore, but as you get into your spirituality, remember not to let it go to your head. Let it make, you think you're better than people because you know about these spiritual things. And it's not better. You've just been around a lot longer. You're an old soul. You're a very old soul. So, I mean, it doesn't mean you're better. It just means you're different. It means you're on a different level. We're all equals here. But you're a very smart individual. I just think that your ego in these past lives tends to get like out of check. Like it gets a little too big. But I feel like you've probably overcome that. Fortune, so I think that's one of your goals in these lives, is going towards what will get you fortune, what will get you money. And that's a good goal. Not all the time. Sometimes, it's an okay goal. Not for me, but it's good for a lot of people. Yeah, I mean, you just have a lot of very intense, exciting lifetimes. So that's it that I have for you, pile number 2. Thank you for watching. And if you want more, I'm going to be doing more of these past life tarot readings. So if you want, subscribe, like, comment, tell me what you think about your research, maybe into your past lives, because I totally will believe you on whatever it is. So please just let me know what you think. I would love to hear. Thank you, pile number 2. Okay, so pile number 3, let's get right into your reading. Okay, pile number 3. So these top cards here are the occupation, events, time periods, and location cards. So if you're interested in it, I'm going to list them all, and you might want to write them down. Also, sorry if my dogs are making noise. They are kind of wilding right now, and they're outside. And normally they're always inside, so they don't like being outside at all. Anyway, so the time periods are 800 BC, 1000 BC, 650 AD, and 1950. So pretty recent past life here. The locations are Persia, Pakistan, Canada. And the events are, This one actually does not fit with the time period, but it adds an extra little time period. So, the discovery of America. So that's interesting. Uh, a criminal, mining, and building the pyramids. So some of these time periods don't really fit with the thing, but that's okay because it just adds more time periods onto it. Because I didn't pull that many time period cards. I think it's just adding more past lives. This is a lot of lives we're talking about here. So I'm going to try to make this comprehensive at all. So let's get right into it. I am tuning into a lot of different energy. It's a lot of very different energy. Like it goes everywhere. It goes crazy. I think you can do everything, honestly. So we have light and love and justice. And what was I tuning into earlier? Light and love and justice and servant are right next to each other. So servant says, delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. And then light and love is just to bring healing, light and love. And justice is to, so I feel like this is one life where you were dedicated to service, dedicated to helping people, dedicated to truth and honesty. You had, I think it's funny how it says the discovery of America and there's a discovery card. That's funny. So a traveler, you liked going around exploring things and seeing different things in one of these lives. There's environment, so this is like being in nature, being outside. You enjoyed that a lot in these lives. Child orphan. So I don't know if this resonates with you or not, but this is feelings of abandonment that stifle maturation. Seeking inappropriate surrogate families. So if you have like kind of abandonment issues or maybe even an orphan now, those are kind of similar energies. So at one point you were abandoned by your parents. I think the lesson it taught you is having to teach yourself, having to find that strength within you rather than relying on others, even though the families that you ended up with at times were kind of negative and using. So there's impulsiveness. So, just kind of doing things without thinking about it. You know what impulsiveness is. So you had a tendency for that in these lives. Damsel is understanding the nature of healthy romance, inspires you to rely on yourself. Exactly what I was saying with the orphan. So a damsel is usually, how we think of it, someone who's waiting to be rescued. So you were that at one point until you found it within yourself to rescue yourself. So in one of these lifetimes, you found your self-reliance. So whether you have it now or not, it's always something that you have to relearn. Not always. Sometimes you're just really good at being self-reliant, but that was a lesson that you had to learn. It might have been a recent lesson. It might have been an old lesson. Either way, that is a lesson that you did learn. Now, this trickster one interests me because it says manipulating others through duplicity. I don't exactly understand what that is, but it's just kind of, tricking others into doing things. I think you had a few negatively aspected lifetimes here. Not too many, because it looks like for the most part you're very like loving and giving, but it's right under this negotiation card. So it's like, tricking people into making a decision that might benefit you but harm them. But you also have this achievement card, so you have lifetimes where you really had done a lot, achieved a lot, made a lot of successes. And here's the Fool. This one you might even have a little bit now, but maybe not. But fearlessly revealing emotion, helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy. So it's like laughing at the things that are darker, but also just dumb things in this world and in the world you used to live in. An athlete. Let's see what this is. Dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower and strength of spirit. So a lot of your lessons had to do with developing your inner strength, developing your inner fight and reliance. And you did really well on that. You also have a mission to give light and love. And a lot of these lives, or at least one of them, you were in contact with your angels, speaking to your angels. I think it was a more really old life when that was more normal. But but communication with angels was big for you at one time. And then there's body work, so it's massage therapy, energy healing, physical therapy, or training, exercise training. So you might also be someone who's very athletic. It might have been even in a recent lifetime where you were some sort of athlete. So if you're into sports or things like that, then that is why. Yeah, I mean, you accomplished a lot of things. It seems like you had a lot of like tough past lives, and you're really like a compassionate, loving person now because of all of these things, because of all of this that has happened to you. And you're really, I mean, exaltation, you're really learning how to be abundant and trust in yourself. So this is a lot of good things. So pile number 3, if you enjoyed this, I'm going to be making more of these, and they'll be longer. These ones were super short because of my dogs, and I'm in the living room, and it's just, they're being really obnoxious, so I couldn't really do a super long one. I kind of had to hurry it up. But next time I do it, it'll be really long. So if you enjoyed this pile number 3, like, subscribe, comment, especially comment. I like hearing about, what people think about their past lives and stuff like that. So, well, thank you for watching.